hold on a second. Don't blink, because this truck might look quiet at first glance, but it makes a serious statement once you take a closer look. What you're seeing right now is the 2026 Toyota Stout 4x4 first look in a clean gray finish. And this pickup could be one of the most interesting returns Toyota has made in years. Instead of chasing flashy designs or over-the-top styling, Toyota seems to be focusing on something many truck buyers actually care about: real durability, real usability, and long-term reliability. And that brings up an important question right away. In a market packed with bold trucks like the Ford Ranger, rugged competitors like the Chevy Colorado, and legendary names like the Toyota Hilux, could the new Stout quietly become the most practical pickup in its class? Today on the Car Review Hub, we're taking a detailed walk around this truck, exploring every angle and feature to see whether this comeback pickup is just nostalgia or something genuinely smart for modern drivers. Let's start from the backside, because when it comes to pickup trucks, the rear often tells you a lot about how serious the vehicle really is. Looking at the rear of the 2026 Toyota Stout 4x4, the design feels solid, balanced, and clearly built with purpose in mind. The tailgate looks thick and durable, the kind of tailgate you wouldn't hesitate to load up with heavy gear or tools. It doesn't feel fragile or overly styled. Instead, it gives off that reassuring Toyota toughness that truck owners appreciate. The gray color works surprisingly well here. Instead of looking flashy, it gives the truck a professional, almost industrial vibe. You can easily imagine this truck at a construction site, on a farm road, or parked outside a small business. It feels like a working truck rather than a lifestyle accessory. The cargo bed itself looks wide and practical. Toyota clearly designed it for real-world hauling instead of just weekend decoration. Compared to trucks like the Hyundai Santa Cruz, which leans more toward an urban lifestyle pickup, the Stout's rear design sticks to traditional pickup values. Taillights follow that same philosophy. They're clean, simple, and practical. Nothing overly complicated, just bright. Visible lights that work well whether you're driving in heavy rain, dust, or darkness. But here's something I want to ask you. Do you prefer this clean and functional rear design, or would you rather see trucks with aggressive styling and huge lighting elements? Let me know what you think. Now let's move along the left side of the truck, because this is where the proportions of the Stout really start to shine. From this angle, the truck immediately shows its strong stance. The body lines are straight and purposeful, giving the vehicle a planted and confident appearance. This isn't a truck trying to look sporty or futuristic. Instead, it looks capable. The gray paint highlights those straight lines beautifully. It emphasizes the solid structure of the body, making the truck appear wider and more grounded on the road. Ground clearance is another thing that stands out immediately. Toyota clearly designed the Stout with rough roads and uneven terrain in mind. Whether it's dirt trails, gravel roads, or muddy work sites, this truck looks ready for it. When you compare it to something like the Ford Maverick, the difference becomes obvious. The Maverick is great as a compact lifestyle pickup, but the Stout feels more like a traditional truck built from the ground up. The wheel arches look strong, but not exaggerated. They don't try to look overly muscular, they simply reinforce. The truck's capability, the side steps are functional too. They look sturdy enough to actually use every day, instead of just being there for styling. There's something about this side profile that suggests long-term ownership. It feels like the kind of truck someone buys and keeps for years. So here's another question for you. If you were driving deep into the mountains or on a remote road far away from help, would you trust this truck to get you there and back safely? Now let's continue the walk around and check out the right side of the Stout. The design language remains consistent, and honestly, that consistency is a good thing. Toyota didn't try to reinvent everything here. Instead, they refined what already works. The doors appear thick and well-built, and the body panels give off a durable impression. Everything looks aligned with Toyota's usual focus on longevity in gray. The truck almost blends into different environments. Whether it's parked on a city street, sitting at a construction site, or driving down a dusty trail, it looks natural in every setting. When compared to rivals like the Isuzu D-Max, the Stout feels slightly more modern in design while still Keeping that rugged pickup identity intact, one thing that really stands out is that this truck feels engineered first and marketed second. And that's something many truck buyers actually appreciate. So let me ask you something. Should pickup trucks focus more on strong engineering and durability, or should manufacturers chase styling trends and flashy designs?
Oh, it's time to
Step inside the cabin, because the interior tells you a lot about Toyota's philosophy for this truck. The moment you sit inside the 2026 Toyota Stout 4x4, the layout feels simple and intuitive. Nothing feels confusing or overly complicated. Every button, control, and display seems to be placed exactly where your hand naturally reaches. Toyota didn't try to overwhelm the driver with unnecessary technology here. Instead, the cabin balances. Modern features with practical usability, you'll still get a digital display, smartphone connectivity, and helpful driver assistance systems. But unlike some modern trucks that hide everything inside giant touchscreens, the Stout keeps physical controls for important functions. That makes a big difference when you're driving on rough roads or wearing work gloves. The seating position is upright and commanding, giving the driver excellent visibility in every direction. This is something truck owners often value, especially when driving off-road or maneuvering in tight spaces. The seats themselves feel firm and supportive. They're clearly designed for long drives and demanding conditions rather than just looking fancy. Storage space is another strong point. There are compartments for tools, phones, water bottles, paperwork, and everyday items. Everything feels thoughtfully designed. When you compare this interior to something like the Nissan Frontier, the Stout's cabin feels calmer and more timeless. It's the kind of interior that will still feel comfortable and functional even after years of use. But let me ask you something. Would you rather have a truck interior that looks futuristic today, or one that stays practical and reliable for the next 10 years? Now let's talk about what really defines any pickup truck: the engine and performance. The 2026 Toyota Stout 4x4 doesn't appear to be chasing extreme horsepower numbers just to win spec sheet battles. Instead, Toyota seems focused on delivering strong low-end torque, smooth power delivery, and long-term reliability. That approach makes a lot of sense for a truck like this. When you're towing equipment, hauling cargo, or driving on difficult terrain, torque and consistency matter far more than raw speed, compared to some turbo-heavy competitors that promise huge power figures, but sometimes sacrifice durability. The Stout appears to take a more balanced approach. The four-wheel drive system is designed for controlled traction rather than extreme off-road stunts. Whether you're dealing with mud, sand, gravel, or even snow, the Stout aims to keep things predictable and stable. Toyota understands something important about truck owners: most people prefer reliability and consistency over flashy performance. Numbers fuel efficiency is also expected to be reasonable. And Toyota will likely design the truck with longer service intervals to reduce maintenance costs. That's especially valuable in regions where fuel quality and road conditions can vary. So here's another question for you. Would you be willing to sacrifice a little horsepower if it meant better reliability and lower running costs? Now let's talk about something everyone cares about: the price. While official pricing may vary depending on the market, the 2026 Toyota Stout 4x4 is expected to sit in a very competitive range. Think of it as a bridge between budget-friendly pickups and premium trucks. Compared to the Toyota Hilux, the Stout could offer a slightly more affordable entry into Toyota's legendary truck lineup. And when you place it next to rivals like the Ford Ranger or Chevy Colorado, the Stout's biggest advantage might not be flashy technology. It could be lower long-term ownership costs and Toyota's reputation for durability. And that raises an interesting question. If this truck came in at the right price, what would make it an instant buy for you? Now let's wrap things up with the final verdict. The 2026 Toyota Stout 4x4 in gray isn't trying to impress everyone with loud styling or exaggerated features. Instead, it focuses on something much more important: practicality, durability, and real-world USAB. Validity. This truck feels like it was designed for people who actually use their vehicles every day, whether that means hauling equipment, driving, off-road, or simply relying on a dependable pickup for work and travel in a market full of attention-grabbing trucks. The Stout stands quietly confident, and sometimes a quiet confidence is exactly what makes a vehicle special. But now the real question is for you. If the price is right, would you choose the Toyota Stout over trucks like the Hilux, Ford Ranger, or Chevy Colorado? Do you think this gray color makes the truck look tougher? Or would you prefer a more aggressive color option? Drop your thoughts down in the comments because your opinion really matters here. And I'd love to hear what you think about Toyota bringing the Stout name back. And if you enjoyed this first look at the 2026 Toyota Stout 4x4, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, follow the Car Review Hub for more honest car reviews, truck breakdowns, and first looks at the latest vehicles coming to the market. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.